To evaluate the health of a country, economists rely on specific diagnostic tools called economic indicators. We use these statistics to track living standards over time and compare the development levels of different nations. Let's test this with a one-mark multiple-choice question from the March 2022 exam. The question asks you to identify the specific metrics included in the Human Development Index, or HDI. The correct answer relies on three distinct pillars. The HDI measures health using life expectancy, education using mean years of schooling, and the standard of living using income per head. Cambridge frequently sets a trap here by offering total GDP as an option. You must avoid it because total GDP completely ignores the size of the population. By combining these three data points, we get a much clearer picture of human development than if we looked at the sheer size of an economy alone. That brings us to a crucial two-mark exam question from June 2024. It asks you to explain exactly how real GDP per head acts as an indicator of living standards. To get full marks, we have to deconstruct the term. First, look at the word real. In economics, this means the figure has been strictly adjusted for inflation. It reflects what people's money can actually buy, rather than just the number printed on their paychecks. Next, we address per head. This tells us that the total output of the country has been divided by its entire population to calculate the average individual income. When you combine these definitions, the answer is clear. A higher real GDP per head means individuals possess the true purchasing power required to buy basic necessities, increasing their consumption and improving their material well-being. Real-world macroeconomic data rarely points in a single unified direction. In this four-mark data analysis question from June 2021, you were asked to compare the living standards in Nigeria and Ethiopia. Looking at the data table, Nigeria shows clear advantages in two areas. It has a higher GDP per head and a higher average number of years spent at school. These indicators suggest Nigerians have higher consumption power and a more educated workforce. However, the data conflicts. Nigeria also has a lower life expectancy and a higher percentage of underweight children. These negative indicators suggest poor healthcare and inadequate nutrition. When faced with conflicting data in an exam, you must provide a balanced analysis. High income and education indicators do not cancel out poor health indicators. You have to clearly state what each side of the data suggests about the economy to earn full marks. Let's look at a 5-mark relationship analysis question from November 2020. Before we look at the data, think about how a country's GDP per head ranking should correlate with its HDI ranking. This graph plots GDP per head against HDI rankings, demonstrating a clear positive upward trend. Generally, higher income allows a government to collect more tax revenue, which it can then invest heavily in the other HDI components, education and healthcare. But Cambridge will always ask you to find the exception to the rule. Notice the positions of Cuba and Indonesia. Cuba has a significantly lower GDP per head ranking than Indonesia, yet it holds a higher HDI ranking. This anomaly occurs because HDI includes multiple variables. Even if a country's average income lags behind, its overall HDI ranking will rise if its life expectancy and schooling systems heavily overperform. Income is a strong foundational predictor of development, but mathematically, it is simply one piece of a country's overall human development success. We cap this off with an 8-mark essay question from March 2020. You must discuss whether people in high-income countries always enjoy a higher standard of living. You start by outlining why they might. High GDP creates massive tax revenue. Governments use this to build superior infrastructure and advanced healthcare systems. Furthermore, wealth shifts the labor force away from physically demanding agricultural jobs towards safer service sector roles. Then you must pivot to why they might not. A high national wealth figure hides distribution. If a country has severe, uneven income distribution, huge portions of the population remain trapped in relative poverty, while a small minority holds the wealth. You also need to detail the external costs of reaching that high income. The rapid industrialization required to boost GDP generates severe environmental externalities, such as toxic air pollution, which directly harms public health. Urban economic growth also creates immense infrastructural strain. Citizens often face massive traffic congestion, long working hours, and high daily stress levels, all of which erode their quality of life. To accurately assess a country's true standard of living, economists have to subtract these negative externalities from the positive benefits of wealth. As you prepare for your exam, keep this strict rule in mind. total output, or GDP, is entirely distinct from average income, or GDP per head. Confusing the two is the fastest way to lose data interpretation marks.
Fundoo Tutor is a personalized learning platform that helps students succeed in Cambridge, IB, and other international curriculums with expert mentorship, structured learning support, and engaging resources.